Dude, The Matrix is pure cinema.
Dodge this.
It was smart, stylish, and highly influential. Just everything about that film went hard, from the characters to the action scenes, and especially the soundtrack. And just talk about an ending.
It was perfect.
But the powers that be decided to pump out a couple sequels. Now, they aren't terrible. In fact, they have some great moments, and they make for a decent movie night with the girlfriend I don't have. But they do feel kind of unnecessary, and they start to lose sight of the reason why I liked the original in the first place. But of course, the story doesn't end there, because we eventually get another Matrix film, and I don't think anyone asked for it, but it came out all the same, and people had some thoughts about it. It was a pointless film that weaponized nostalgia in order to tell a mediocre story that ultimately meant nothing, filled with characters no one remembered 2 weeks after it released. Why am I bringing up the Matrix franchise in a video about Fooly Cooly? No reason. Fooly Cooly Grunge. Why do you exist? I'm half convinced this is some kind of money laundering scheme, that or a case of extortion. Now, how did some no-name studio like this get the chance to work on Fooly Cooly? The only other thing they worked on is a kids movie called After School Midnighters. Shot in the dark here, but I'm guessing IG was trying to replicate the circumstances behind the original Fooly Cooly success. You know, like having a team of unestablished animators do whatever they wanted, but we already did this. It didn't work out very well that time, and it really didn't work out very well this time. This anime is not fun to look at. I mean, it's not fun in general. The characters are boring in one note, there's no energy in any of the scenes. And the story, it's a complete non-factor that goes nowhere. The structure of the series is kind of interesting. Each episode takes place simultaneously, but they each show you a different piece of the puzzle by focusing on one of the three new main characters. The all-star roster includes Sushi Naota, Shy Alien Rock Monster, and Nina Mori, if she was born after 1993. Okay, not really, but I've got Scott Pilgrim on the mind, so bear with me. Now, episode 1 is Sushi Naota's storyline, and it's just the original Fooly Cooly, but sped up and cut down with a few new things added in to make you think it's different from Naota's story. And it all works about as well as you'd expect it to. Now, episode 2 follows the shy rock alien and also his drunk rock alien brother. Now, how does that work exactly? And also, why are there rock aliens now? It doesn't matter. The drunk brother is in the Yakuza, and they do Yakuza stuff. And the shy one spends most of the time just fumbling a girl with mommy issues. Which brings us to the last episode, which shows post-1993 Nina Mori's unfortunate family situation, involving a dad who just goes through the motions of life, and a mom that lost hers some time ago, and got replaced with a robot that our gal doesn't take too kindly to. Take a wild guess how that one ends. Also, Haruko is here. Did I mention Haruko is here? I mean, the people just love Haruko. Give us more Haruko, they say. Look, she's doing a Haruko. This is Haruko, right?
You are so creepy, I'm literally screaming right now! If there was a Guinness record for creepy, you would hold it. So go on with your Me Too jokes and egotistical lame-splaining. That just proves you're one of the lunatic cringe. This part doesn't make sense when we translate it, so just forget it.
Yeah. I know people want to use this scene as yet another example of why localizers deserve less, but I think it's a great scene to illustrate how far Fooly Cooly has fallen, because the original Fooly Cooly is one of the best examples of localization done right. Niche cultural references that would have been lost on anyone who didn't live in Japan were researched, dissected, and substituted with Western equivalents. And this wasn't done to fix the problematic source material, it was done to preserve the original meaning. Does the drink Cheerio mean anything to you? Probably not. But Crystal Pepsi, now that might invoke the feeling Cheerio was meant to invoke. That's what localizers are supposed to do. I, for one, am not interested in a robotic literal translation. I want them to capture the spirit of the script, even if that means changing words. I'll say it, changing stuff is fine. It's sometimes even necessary. But you still have to care about the thing you're working on to do this correctly. Although that being said, you can still care and give it the good old college try and still be out of luck. Because sometimes you'll find a word or a full joke that just gets lost in translation. So your only options are to leave it untranslated and hope people understand, or completely rewrite it. And I'm not even against the rewrite option, especially for something like Fooly Cooly. And if you want to break the fourth wall, then go ahead and break it. It's not like it's anything new for this series. But if you're gonna break the fourth wall, then you gotta make it funny. This isn't funny. Yeah, and I know, yeah, comedy is subjective, but I'm not even convinced this is comedy. It doesn't come across as a joke, it feels like a peek into the writer's room, which does not inspire confidence in me for how shoegaze will be localized. My running schizo thread is that they did this intentionally to stir up some discussion online. You know, there's no such thing as bad publicity. It's the only time I saw people actually acknowledge that this show even existed. But I think the more likely answer is that, well, they just didn't care. And really, I'm not convinced that anyone who worked on this anime cared. Now, I'm not trying to belittle the sweatshop workers, but it really looks bad. For the sake of claiming I'm not biased, I'm gonna say there are a couple of moments that actually look pretty good. But yeah, I mean, this one doesn't hold a candle to the original. I mean, it doesn't even hold a candle to the sequels. Even when it tries to switch up styles like Fooly Cooly often does, it just looks cheap and off-putting. And then there's the music, one of Fooly Cooly's most defining qualities. The original used the various tracks to not just fit the scene, but be the scene. It's hard to imagine some of these iconic moments without Brand New Love Song,
Well, I like him more than hard bread.
Hybrid Rainbow, or Blues Drive Monster. But here, the songs are an afterthought, a mangled montage of the Pillow's greatest hits. The soundtrack doesn't complement the visuals anymore, it's just distracting. Also, and now this is a pet peeve of mine, but I just really don't like it when a new entry reuses stuff from the older beloved classic. It doesn't feel like an homage, it feels like a malicious attempt to siphon my love for the thing that earned it into whatever this new thing was supposed to be. And speaking of that, what was the point of Fooly Cooly Grunge? Is there some kind of overarching theme or message imparted to the audience? I really couldn't tell you. I mean, it's not much of a coming-of-age story like the original. It tries to be, but the writing just doesn't cut it. Nothing is on the same level as the bridge scene, or Nina Mori's play, or even swinging the bat. There's no style and no substance. There's nothing to think about and nothing to remember. I like that I can take the smallest random detail in an episode of Fooly Cooly and just run with it. Why does Nina Mori wear a USSR t-shirt in episode 3? Well, that whole episode is about controlling the narrative, and when you say Soviet Union, I think Iron Curtain. A metaphorical wall that separated the East and the West, a wall that hid everything the Soviets wanted to hide from the rest of the world, a wall that hid the rest of the world from the Soviet people. Now what does Nina Mori do in this episode? Well, she reveals something personal and embarrassing about herself that no one else knows to Naota. But when he fails to reciprocate her feelings, she takes it back by revealing her secret to everyone. Only this time she changes a key detail.
They're fake.
We know the truth. We know that she really did reveal something intimate about herself to Naota, but in one simple move, she made the truth muddy. And now the ball is back in her court. She can choose to reveal the truth to Naota once again and try to seduce him into a proper relationship, or she can just choose to rebut everything Naota says about the glasses, or about rigging the votes for the play, or really about everything that happened between the two. All of this happens because she understood how to use idle gossip, how to hide the truth with lies, how to control the narrative. Is this the real reason she wears that shirt? I doubt it. But that's the beauty of Fooly Cooly's writing. It's intentionally ambiguous and filled with just enough randomness to keep you asking, what did they mean by this? You can write it off as they didn't care, so don't overthink it, but the ample instances of creative conversations and visual metaphors with clear thought put into them convinced me and many others that there was a point, that it does mean something, that these dots are supposed to be connected, but the way they get connected and the picture they end up forming is ultimately up to you. You get to decide if the series had something to say, or if it was all just a foolish fever dream and a cool visual spectacle. I know some people are gonna say I shouldn't have expected much from Grunge. It's only 3 episodes while the others are 6, so it was never gonna match the quality of what came before, either in terms of production value or competent storytelling. And to that I say, no. This was announced alongside Shoegaze, just like how seasons 2 and 3 were announced. Both of those got 6 episodes to tell a story, so if they really wanted to, they could have done the same for Grunge. But even if the plan always was just 3 episodes, that's no excuse for the poor quality. Gunsmith Cats is 3 episodes. Now that's an anime that looks great, sounds great, and it has great characters too. It can be done, but it was never gonna happen for Fooly Cooly Grunge. Because it's not an anime. It's not a show. It's not even a story. It's a tile on a streaming service meant to manufacture an illusion of an ample, worthwhile catalog of diverse entertainment. Don't fall for the scam. Just track down the original. Alright, believe it or not, I don't want to endlessly rant about how old equals good and new equals bad, so let's just call it here. Tell me what you think about FLCL Grunge, and until next time, Ave Maria, Deus Vult, and for the record, I can fix her.